All right, today's topic is how do we multiply fractions? So multiplying fractions is actually pretty easy. All you're gonna do is just multiply straight across. So in this example, 1/2 times 2/3, we're just gonna multiply 1 times 2 to get 2, and 2 times 3 to get 6. And our answer is 2/6. So here's another example. 3/4 times 1/5, multiply straight across, 3 times 1 is 3, 4 times 5 is 20. And there's our answer, 3/20. And one more. 5/2 times 1/4. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 4 is 8. So how do we simplify our answer though? It's easy enough to multiply straight across, but how do we simplify our answer? Well, let's take a look at this problem. 3/4 times 2/3. If I multiply straight across, 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 3 is 12. This is the right answer, however, it's not simplified. I want to simplify this answer, get it in its most simplest form. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to find what's called the greatest common factor. You may hear me sometimes call it the GCF, just to abbreviate. And the way we find the greatest common factor, or the GCF, is we list the factors of both numbers in our answer. Now the factors are numbers that can go into our number, or that we can divide into our number. Now, every single number is going to have a factor of 1. It doesn't matter how big or how small that number is, every number will have a factor of 1. All right? Now, I've underlined the factors that both of these numbers, 6 and 12, have in common. So let's go ahead and take a look at how did I come up with these factors. Well, I know that I can divide 1 into 6 because I can divide 1 into any number. I can also divide 2 into 6 and 3. If I multiply 2 times 3, I get 6. And then I can divide 6 into 6 as well, and that's 6 times 1 is how I can do that. Now let's look at 12. Okay, so again, I can obviously divide 1 into 12. I can divide 2 into 12 6 times. I can divide 3 into 12 4 times. I can divide 4 into 12 3 times. And you start to notice that these factors have pairs. So 3 and 4 are pairs, 2 and 6 are pairs, 12 and 1 are pairs. Same thing with 6, 6 and 1 are pairs, and 2 and 3 are pairs. Okay, so here are all of the factors of both 6 and 12, which is what our answer was, 6/12. Now I need to find the greatest common factor. Well, what that means is both numbers have to share that factor, and we're also looking for the greatest one. Well, if I look at the ones that are underlined, those are my ones in common, and the greatest one is going to be 6. So what do I do with that greatest common factor of 6? Well, I'm going to take that greatest common factor and I'm going to divide it into both numbers in my answer. Remember, my answer was 6/12, and I found that the greatest common factor of 6 and 12 was 6. So I divide 6 by 6 to get 1, and I divide 12 by 6 to get 2, and there is my simplified answer. Awesome, right? Well, what about an improper fraction? Can I simplify an improper fraction? Of course I can. Now, here's what an improper fraction is. An improper fraction is when the numerator, the number on top, is bigger than the denominator, the number on bottom. So we're going to use a little different process for simplifying these fractions, but it's still pretty easy to do. So here's my improper fraction, 12/10, and I need to simplify it. The first thing I'm going to do, because it's an improper fraction where the numerator is bigger than the denominator, that means that that fraction has a value of more than 1 or greater than 1. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 1 from this fraction. All right, so the fraction equivalent of 1 is always going to be whatever the denominator is, and copy that to the numerator. So my denominator in this problem of 12/10 is 10. Now I'm just going to copy that to the numerator. Any fraction where the numerator and the denominator are the same is equal to 1. So I'm going to take out 10/10 from 12/10, and that's the same thing as me taking out 1 whole. And that's going to leave me with 2/10 left over. So here would be my answer. However, this is still not in simplest form. I can simplify 2/10. So we're going to go back to finding our greatest common factor by listing the factors of 2 and 10. And again, both of them have a factor of 1. They also both have a factor of 2, and there's no more factors for 2, but we do see 10 has some other factors. However, again, we're looking for common factors, which are the ones they have in common, and we're looking for the greatest one. In this case, it's going to be 2. So I take that greatest common factor, that GCF, and I'm going to divide it into my numerator and my denominator. And when I do that, I get 1/5. And so now I can go back to the 1 whole I had, and here is my simplified answer for 12/10 is the same thing as 1 and 1/5.